Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of St. Peter's Preschool Time. I'm Mrs Striggle, and I bet you can guess what we're going to be talking about today. Take some guesses. Let me hear what you think. Yes! Pumpkins and gourds. We are going to do a lot of science with these pumpkins. We're going to investigate and experiment and do different activities and learn all about pumpkins today. But before we do that, let's get started with our welcome song. Ready? Everyone sing with me. Welcome to preschool time, our preschool time. Welcome to our preschool time. I'm so glad you're here. Let's sing it one more time. Ready? Welcome to our preschool time, our preschool time. Welcome to our preschool time. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get going to pumpkin science. Let's take a look at the different pumpkins and gourds that we have here. You can see they are all different sizes and shapes, all different colors and different textures. Texture is what you feel on them. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at this pumpkin right here. Ready? When I look at it, I see that it has a stem. I see that it's pretty smooth when I feel it. What color is this pumpkin? It is orange, yes. This is what many of us tend to think about when we talk about pumpkins. But did you know there are many different kinds of pumpkins? Look, this is a pumpkin too. Look at it. How do you think this one feels? It looks, and when I feel it, I can tell that it is bumpy. So this one is smooth, and this one is bumpy. What about the color of it? What color does it look like? I hear some people say pink. It's a little bit pink. I heard some people say kind of a white, because the bumps look a little white. And some people even said a light orange. That's a good describer. Light orange. It's not orange like this. It's a lighter color orange. Let's look at one of our different pumpkins, our other pumpkins. Oh, this one in the back here. Can you see this one? What color is this pumpkin? Yes, it's white. Did you know that pumpkins can be white? They can be. This one is a silly pumpkin or a gourd. I'm going to show it to you, lift it up and show it to you. Look at that. It has a round bottom and a really long neck. And that's kind of a white or beige color. What about, can you see these little pumpkins up front here? Here's one, and here's one. There's some little pumpkins over here beside me. Here's one. Let's take a look at these. Look at all these. These are little gourds. And you can tell these are many different colors and shapes as well. What colors do you see on here? I heard someone say green. It's like this one and this one. I heard a yellow, even a little bit of white. There's a little bit of white there. Great. What texture do you see on these little gourds? Both, yes. Some are smooth. These two are smooth. And these two are bumpy. What about shape? What shape do you see on these? Good. This one is kind of round like a circle. Yes. Whereas this one is a little more of an oval, or it's close to an oval. It kind of has a pear shape. And look, these have a similar shape, but this one is wide and this one is narrow. So pumpkins and gourds come in all different shapes and sizes. We're going to take some of our little pumpkins now and we're going to sort them. Here are a whole bunch of different mini gourds. Let's count how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 little gourds, and we are going to sort them. There are many ways that we can sort them. One way that we might sort them is by color. So I see that this one is green. Let's look around. Are there any other gourds that are green? This one, I'm going to put it in my green pile. Is there any other gourd that's green? This one, yes, it's a different color green, but it's still green. All right, what other colors do we have? Shout them out. Yes, I heard someone say orange. Here's an orange gourd. I see another orange gourd. Where else do you see an orange gourd? Yes, here and also here. Now we have 2 left. Oh, and look at that. They look very similar. These both have yellow on top and green on the bottom. So I think they could go in a 2-colored category or sorting, a yellow and a green. So there, we can sort like that. What's a different way that we could sort these? Oh, keep thinking. What other way could we sort them? We talked about colors, texture. That's right. Some are smooth and some are bumpy. Let's take a look at them. Okay, let's look at this one. Is this one smooth or bumpy? It is smooth. We'll put it in the smooth category. What about here? Is this one smooth or bumpy? Oh, this is kind of tricky. You're right, it could go either way because the ribs on it, that's what these lines are called, the ribs, they give it a little bit bumpy of a look. But I think most of the flesh is smooth. So I'm going to put it in the smooth category. Now, what about this one here? Yes, this one has little tiny bumps all over it. So this one could be in the bumpy category. We'll put that over there. What about this one? This one is like the one that we put in the smooth, so we'll put that over there. Now this is a different one, but look at it. What do you think the texture of this one is? Smooth, yes. And this one looks like it might be a little bit bumpy because of the 2 colors, but when I feel it, it feels smooth. So I'm going to put it here. And let's look at this one. Bumpy, yes. What do you think? Bumpy. And this one is smooth. Very good. Now I'm thinking of another way to sort. We haven't really talked about this one yet. But do you notice that some of the pumpkins have stems on them. And some of the little pumpkin gourds don't. Let's sort them by that, and then we'll count and see how many we have of each. All right, let's start over here this time. Does this have a stem or no stem? Yell it out. Yes, a stem. What about this one? Tell me. It has a stem. What about this one? It does have a stem. All right, let's look at this one. Yes, a stem. And what about this one? Our first one, it does not have a stem. We'll put it up here. Okay, what about this one? This has a little stem, but it has a stem, so we'll put it here. And this one? Yes, this one has a curvy stem there. All right, what about this one? I'm looking all over. No stem. It's going to go in our no stem pile. And then what about this last one here? Yes, it has a stem, so it goes over here. Let's count how many of our little gourds, our little pumpkins, have stems. Ready? Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many of our little gourds do not have stems? 1, 2. Which has more? Do the stem group or the no stem group have more? It is the stem group. It has a bigger number in it, so it's more. Which group has less? Yes, this one has less. It has a smaller number in it, so it has less. Friends, you can get your own mini gourds or anything at home, and you can do fun sorting activities like this at home too. So we've just seen that pumpkins can come in all different sizes and shapes and colors. We're going to learn more about the other parts of the pumpkin. This book is called Pumpkins. Look at pumpkins. Pumpkins are fruit that ripen in the fall. Ripe pumpkins can be orange or green, yellow, or white. Did you know that jack-o'-lanterns are made from pumpkins? The outside of the pumpkin is called the rind. Do you see the lines on the rind? We call those lines ribs. The ribs start at the stem and can run all the way down to the bottom. The rind protects the inside of a pumpkin from insects and other animals. The inside of a pumpkin is called the flesh. Let's take a look now at the flesh. This is an up-close picture of the flesh. The flesh is full of long strings called strands, and if you touch them, they feel soft and gooey. The strands are attached to the side of the pumpkin. Their job is to make the seeds. Pumpkins can have hundreds of seeds. Let's look at the seeds. A pumpkin seed is flat and shaped like a raindrop. The outside of the shell is hard and white. The green nut inside is good to eat. But you need seeds to make more pumpkins. When a seed is planted, a vine starts to grow. Let's look at the vine. The pumpkin vine has big green leaves. The leaves use sunlight to make food for the pumpkin. The leaves have to be big to feed such a fruit. There's the big leaf. Look how big they are. Blossoms also grow on the vine. Let's take a look at the blossom. Pumpkin blossoms are yellow or orange. They look like stars. Can you guess what happens after the blossom falls off? More pumpkins. A pumpkin has a mark on the bottom. It's kind of like the pumpkin's belly button. This is where the pumpkin blossom once was. Let's look at what we found out about pumpkins. Pumpkins have rinds with ribs to protect them, flesh with strands to make seeds, seeds to grow into new pumpkins, vines to feed them, blossoms that grow on pumpkin vines. Isn't it amazing to look and learn about pumpkins? Now that we've learned about the parts of a pumpkin, let's see if we can remember how a pumpkin grows. Somebody tell me, how does a pumpkin begin growing? What do we need to grow a pumpkin from? I heard it. Good job. A pumpkin and all plants begin with a seed. Now, that seed then sprouts. That's when a little bit of the green comes up out of the ground. From there, that sprout turns into what? Do you remember from the story? The seed grows into that's right, a vine. And that vine has big green leaves on it. Remember, those leaves use the sun to make food to help the pumpkins grow. The vine then gets what on it? The blossom. Yes. The blossom turns into what? I heard it. Good job. It turns into a pumpkin. So first that pumpkin is green, and then as it ripens, it turns orange. And then we have a pumpkin. And then the cycle starts over again because seeds come from the pumpkin. And this is called the life cycle of a pumpkin. Great work, friends. Now it's time to go on a neighborhood pumpkin hunt. Join me. Let's see how many different pumpkins we can find as we walk around the neighborhood. That was so much fun. We found a lot of pumpkins. Now you can do that around your neighborhood. Grab a grown-up and see if they'll help you count pumpkins on a neighborhood pumpkin walk. So we have looked at a whole bunch of different kinds of pumpkins. We have read all about pumpkins and learned the different parts. We've reviewed the life cycle of the pumpkin, and we've gone on a neighborhood pumpkin hunt to see all the different varieties of pumpkins that we can find and how many pumpkins we can find around our neighborhood. Now it's time to do an investigation on a pumpkin that you choose. You may choose any pumpkin you want. It could be a bumpy or a smooth. It could be an orange or a white or a green. It could be a little pumpkin or it could be a big pumpkin. It could be one of the small gourds. So you choose any one that you want and get your investigation paper, and we're going to investigate. Here is the pumpkin that I chose for my investigation. Again, yours might be different. It might be bigger or smaller or a different color or a different texture, and that's okay. Let's look at our pumpkin investigation paper, and this was emailed to your grown-ups. So ask your grown-ups if they can print this out for you. If they can't, that's okay. You don't need the printout. You can just write it on a plain piece of paper. So we're going to start with the first part of our investigation. The words say, my pumpkin is this color. So I'm going to look at my pumpkin. What color is my pumpkin? It is orange. So I'm going to take an orange crayon and I'm going to color this pumpkin in orange. Now, if your pumpkin is green or your pumpkin is white or your pumpkin is a couple different colors, you color your pumpkin the way that yours looks. Now, I'm going to write the word orange on this line. If you can write the word with a grown-up's help, go for it. And if you need a grown-up to help you, ask a grown-up to write the word orange there. Next, it says the size of my pumpkin is, and there's a big pumpkin, a medium pumpkin, and a small pumpkin. So I look at my pumpkin, and I think my pumpkin is a medium size. So I'm going to color in the medium one, and you can use any color you want. I like the color green, so that's what I'm using. So my pumpkin is medium size. Next, my pumpkin is bumpy or smooth. So I'm going to feel the texture of my pumpkin. It has ribs on it, so it's a little bit bumpy, but mostly when I feel it, it is smooth. So I'm going to color in the smooth pumpkin. I think I'm also going to circle smooth. The next thing we're investigating on the pumpkin is how many lines it has, or how many ribs are on the outside of the pumpkin, on the rind of the pumpkin. Oh my goodness, I seem to have a lot of ribs on my pumpkin. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 ribs on there. That is a lot. I think I counted them all. We're going to write 28 lines or 28 ribs going around. Next, we're going to draw what our pumpkin looks like. The words say, this is what my pumpkin looks like. So we've done all of this investigation and we've noticed things about our pumpkin. So I've noticed that my pumpkin is orange. So I'm going to use my orange crayon. I notice that my pumpkin is medium size. So when I draw my pumpkin, I'm going to draw it medium size. When I look, I also see that my pumpkin has a stem. So I'm going to draw a stem on my pumpkin. It's a little bit orangey, a little bit brown, a little bit black. I don't have my brown crayon out, so I'm just going to do a little bit of black and a little bit of orange. And then I noticed that my pumpkin has ribs on it. Now, I'm not going to draw all 28 ribs. That's an awful lot. But I am going to draw some of the ribs on it because that's what my pumpkin looks like. The next thing we're going to investigate is whether our pumpkin will sink or float. So sinking means that when I put it in a tub of water, it goes all the way to the bottom. Floating means that when I put it in a tub of water, it will bounce up to the top. It'll stay kind of on top of the water. Let me think. Let me predict what I think will happen. Well, my pumpkin is very heavy. When I lift this up, I need 2 hands to lift it. So I'm going to predict that my heavy pumpkin is gonna sink to the bottom. So I'm going to put a little X where it says sink because that's what I think. Let's try it out. So friends, here I am with my sink full of water, and I'm going to test whether my pumpkin floats or sinks. Can you see? My pumpkin is floating. It is not on the bottom. It's kind of swimming around the water here. My prediction was different from what my outcome was, but that's okay. That's the fun in science. Does your pumpkin float or sink? On your investigation sheet, mark what your pumpkin does. So we learned earlier with our book and also with our investigation some of the parts of a pumpkin. So the outside of the pumpkin is the rind, and these lines on here are the ribs. When we go inside the pumpkin, that's when we get to the flesh. So I'm going to use a very sharp knife, and I'm going to cut into the pumpkin. If you have a large pumpkin like this, ask a grown-up if they can help you cut into your pumpkin. Now, let's take a look inside the pumpkin. We're going to scoop some of that flesh out of our pumpkin, and we're going to put it into a container. If you are doing this at home with your pumpkin, make sure you save these seeds because Mrs. Longendorfer is going to do a lesson in our next episode about pumpkins, and you're going to be using all of these pumpkin seeds. So make sure to save them. But what we're going to do right now is scoop out a whole bunch of the flesh like this, and we're going to use it for another science project. It's going to take a long time to scoop all this flesh out of the pumpkin. So while I'm working on this, I'm going to send you over to Mrs. Souter to hear a story all about Dora the Explorer and her trip to the pumpkin patch.
Good afternoon, children. This is Mrs. Souter. I'm going to read the story, Dora's Perfect Pumpkin. Hello, hi, I am Dora. Abula is making a pie, a pumpkin pie. Do you like pie? I do. Boots and I have to go to the pumpkin patch. We will get a pumpkin to make the pie. pie. Here they go. Dora has her wagon. Map says we need to go over the troll bridge and to the farm. We can take this wagon to carry our pumpkin. Here they go. Here's the map. And here they go down the path over the troll bridge, oh dear, and to the farm to get the pumpkin. Here is the troll bridge. Oh my. And here is the grumpy old troll. The grumpy old troll has a riddle for us. Here is the riddle. There are 4 seasons. Do you know them all? They are winter, spring, summer, and what is the last one? That is the riddle. You can't cross the bridge unless you answer the correct answer of the 4th season. Do you know the answer? Right. The answer is fall. Good job. Winter, spring, summer, and fall. Now we can cross the troll bridge. Pages are sticking together. Well, does that happen to you that you can't get the pages apart? There we go. We made it to the farm. We need to find the orange pumpkins. Do you see the pumpkin patch? Is this it? Is this it? Is this it? There's Dora's wagon and Boots is looking. There's the barn. Where is the pumpkin patch? Is this the pumpkin patch? No, these are not pumpkins. These are tomatoes. Is this the pumpkin patch? No, these are not pumpkins. These are peppers. Yellow peppers. Is this the pumpkin patch? Yes. Look at all the pumpkins. Big pumpkins, middle pumpkins, and little pumpkins. Boots and Dora are looking at all the pumpkins. Which one will Dora pick? Boots and I need to pick a pumpkin now. Should we pick this pumpkin? No, it is too big. Should we pick this pumpkin? No, it is too small. Should we pick this pumpkin? Yes, it is the perfect pumpkin for Abula's pie. Boots says, hooray. Now we can put the pumpkin in our wagon. Oh, that's a big load. We will take it to Abula. We made it. Now Abula can make her pumpkin pie. She's waiting for that big pumpkin pie. Boots and I help. We scoop out the pumpkin seeds. Ooh, they got in with their hands. It's kind of slippery and slimy and wet. They've got the seeds out. They scooped them out inside the pumpkin. Then Abula mixes sugar, milk, eggs, and flour, and cinnamon, and pumpkin. There's her cinnamon, milk, flour, sugar, and eggs. She pours it into the pie crust. Then she puts it in the oven. Soon the pie will be done. The pie will taste so good. You can almost smell that pumpkin pie. Boots is excited. Doris says, "What's next?" "The pie is done. Yum! It is a perfect pumpkin pie. Thank you for helping us today." They're going to have a piece of pie with their milk. Oh, yum. What a good story. Dora's perfect pumpkin. She found the one that wasn't too big, wasn't too little, was just the right size. And the 4 seasons are winter, spring, summer, and fall, which is now. And so I wanted to show you a picture of all these pumpkins, which turned into Halloween jack-o'-lanterns. Look at all those pumpkins. They can cut them. Usually it's an adult that has to cut them. And you cut off the top usually, and you carve them. At the top, you cut the top off, and then you scoop the pulp out with a spoon or your hand. And next you draw the eyes, nose, and mouth with a felt pen, and then cut them out. For ears, you can add leaves, small gourds, or halves of a pepper. You can use a carrot or red pepper for a nose. Hold these vegetables in place with a toothpick. You can light your pumpkin with a candle or flashlight. Put the top back on, and your jack-o'-lantern is ready. I hope you enjoyed that story and that you have a fun month of October exploring all the things you can do about pumpkin.
It's always so fun to hear about Dora's adventures. And now we're back. We're going to continue investigating the inside of a pumpkin. You can see that I finished scooping out most of the flesh, most of the strands and the seeds from inside my pumpkin. And I put them in this container right here. And then out of this container, I took a bunch of the seeds and I separated them into this container. We're going to save those for the next episode when Mrs. Longendorfer teaches us more about pumpkins. So I'm going to set those aside. Now this flesh inside the pumpkin, it is squishy. It is slimy. It is really fun to play with. I don't mind getting my hands all dirty. I like the feel of squishy sliminess like this. But some people don't care for that feel, so I'm going to show you a fun way that you can kind of enjoy the squishy sliminess without getting your hands all dirty like mine. Here, I have a plastic bag, and I am going to put the strands and the seeds that I have here inside my plastic bag. Seal it up really tight. And so that it does not make a mess of things, I'm going to put it into another bag. I think the grown-ups of your house will appreciate that. We don't want pumpkin slime all over the house. I'm going to seal it up tight. And friends, we just made a squishy sensory bag. And look what I made on mine. I put a jack-o'-lantern face, just like Mrs. Souter talked about when she was reading the book. So I can squish and feel the flesh of a pumpkin and not get my hands all dirty. Friends, I encourage you to do that too. When you carve your pumpkin, feel inside of it, and if you don't like the feel of it, put some in a plastic bag and you can squish it all around and play with it. And look, I have my sensory bag jack-o'-lantern. And speaking of jack-o'-lanterns, you can make your very own jack-o'-lantern. Here, I drew with a marker on my pumpkin, and then I, being a grown-up, took a very sharp knife and cut the pieces out. So, let's see our jack-o'-lantern. Now I'm going to keep cutting and cut the mouth, and then we could put a light in it possibly, or just leave it like this, and we have a jack-o'-lantern to put on our front porch. Well, friends, we've come to the end of another St. Peter's Preschool time. Thank you so much for joining me so that we could learn all about pumpkin science. I had a great time, and I hope you did too. Now remember, the seeds that we took out during our pumpkin investigation, make sure you save those, because you're going to use those with Mrs. Longendorfer in the next video, and you're going to do some more pumpkin fun stuff with her. All right, friends, let's end like we do all our episodes with our goodbye song. Sing with me. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. We'll see you next time. Bye, friends. See you next time.